Today, by request of Schmoman, we are going to be taking a look at the Arielbots from Age of the Primes and Superion. We're going to be making Superion in this video. So, stay tuned for Superion. But first, we're going to get into the Arielbots. Okay, so most of this video will just be recorded. There won't be too much voiceover in this one. Or like cuts and stuff. So we're going to look at each Arielbot mold-wise. And go over their articulation and their transformation and their differences between each figure. And then we will go over how to combine Silverbolt, the Chunk, and these four into Superion. So, yeah, we're going to start with Legbots. So, starting with the Legbots, as I just mentioned, which consist of Air Raid and Skydive. So these two are definitely more action figure, like look based, than the Armbots. And Skydive is a little bit less retooled, but also a bit more. It's kind of odd. So first of all, accessory-wise, Skydive and Air Raid do include different accessories. Air Raid includes this type of gun, 2 of this gun, and Skydive includes 2 of this gun. So they do include different accessories. We'll just pop all the accessories out of their hand real quick. So now going over like the differences in each of the figures, starting with looking at Air Raid and Skydive next to each other. Their heads are different pieces. This head sculpt is different than this head sculpt. Their arms are the same, but their chest, this look to be the same piece, but this one has a filler gap in it. The legs are identical from the front, besides the color breakup. Looking at the back, the nose cones are a tad bit different. The wings are a little different. And the biggest change is on the back of the legs here. The sculpting is different on each of them. And the tail fin is different on each of them. So that's about it for differences. And just kind of looks-wise, kind of prefer Air Raid to Skydive. Skydive, because Skydive's arms look really short. They're the same size, but the white just kind of makes the arms look a bit longer than the gray and black. But getting into their articulation, they both have the exact same range. None of the different pieces really change the articulation, so we're just going to look at Air Raid. So Air Raid's head is on a ball joint, both of theirs. So you can rotate it, you can get a little bit of up, no down, and a little bit of tilt. Now, that is a little different than Skydive. On Skydive, you get no up. Otherwise, they're the same. The arms, they can rotate all the way around. They can go out a little bit more than all the way. There's a single mushroom bicep. There's a little bit more than 90 at the elbow. No wrist. There is a waist joint. It can rotate all the way. The legs can kick forward that far. They can kick back that far. They can kick out that far. There's a double joint or a double mushroom thigh swivel. There's 90, maybe a little bit less, but about 90 degrees of bend at the knee. The foot can point forward and ankle tilt. So he's pretty posable. Now getting into their transformations, they are identical. So I am just going to do Skydives just to show you the general idea of the mold. That way you can see it. So to transform Skydive into a plane, we are going to first fold up the hands, and the arms will tab into the torso. Then we're going to rotate the head around, and we're going to flip out the landing gear in its chest. We're going to tab the legs together, and we're going to open the legs up, fold the feet up, and then tab them in there. Flipping him around, we're now going to take the back of the legs and collapse those into place. Then we can flip these wings down and rotate the tail fin around. Then we're going to bring down the wings and then bring out the nose cone. And there's his jet mode. Now, I'm not going to explain air raids, but I'll still do it on camera because his is very similar. There's one difference. But overall, I do like this transformation. I think the arms are a little lazy, but I find how the legs work to be very satisfying to just kind of collapse on. I like that. And then the only difference is that since Air Raid has 2 tail fins, you're going to rotate both of them around. Like so. That's the only difference, though. And then we just finish them off. And we've got 2 very nice planes. From the front, or from the top, they look nice. From the side, not so much. They do just kind of have a guy under there. Which I wouldn't usually complain about that, because most jet formers just have a guy under there. But if you've seen the other figures, you'll know why I'm complaining. So, but that's about it for Skydive and Air Raid for right now. So let's move on to Slingshot and Fireflight, who are the Arielbots. Okay, so looking at the Arielbots, which are Slingshot, who is this one. This is Slingshot. And Fireflight, who's this one. Fireflight is probably my favorite of the whole set. I really like Fireflight. But they do include the same accessory. So both of them include 2 of this little double-barreled gun piece. Kind of disappointing they include the same one. But there are some differences that kind of make up for it. First of all, there's a lot more paint on Fireflight. But looking at them both, you can see that right away they do have different nose cones. It's the biggest difference. But you can also see that their wings are different pieces, and they're attached differently. These wings hinge at the very back of the leg, while these hinge near the front of the leg. So I like to swing these wings back. And then since these wings are so far back, if you swing them back, I like to swing those forward. And it also makes them look a bit more different. But yeah, their articulations, once again, identical. So let me just take off Fireflight's accessories and we'll go over his articulation. So to articulate Fireflight, or both of them, you can rotate the head on a ball joint. There's a little bit of tilt, no up, and a good amount of down, though. The arms, they can rotate all the way around. They go out, trigger-happy style. There's a single-jointed bicep, or single-mushroom bicep. Double-jointed elbow, no wrist. There's a waist, but it's a little wobbly because of the arm connector stuff in his torso. Legs can kick forward. They can kick back. They can kick out to the side. Thigh rotation, single mushroom, 90 degrees of bend at the leg, and ankle tilt. And you can point the feet. That's about it, though. So he's not anywhere near as posable as the leg molds. But getting into their transformation, we're going to use Slingshot for this, because we just used Fireflight. There are pretty much no differences for their transformations. They're pretty much exactly the same. Sorry about that. I finally got Bone Crusher in the mail, so expect a review on him soon. I've been playing with him and kind of forgot I was filming. So, back to the video. We're doing Slingshot's transformation. So, to transform Slingshot, you're going to rotate the head all the way around. You're going to flip out the landing gear. You're going to flip back the backpack. You're going to rotate at the bicep and curl the arms. Same thing on this side. Then the arm will slot up and tab into this peg. So the arm will slide up. Then you can just bring down the nose cone and that'll tab into everything. Then we can tab the legs together. We can open the legs. We can combiner wars the legs up. Close the legs up, open the wings, close up the feet, flip out the tail. That's awesome. That's very satisfying once again, and results as I was saying, it results in a lot cleaner of a jet mode. Since I seem to be dropping the camera a lot, we're going to do Fireflight off camera, and I'll see you for the combination sequence. Engage! Okay, so now we're on the floor, and we're going to work on the combined mode. So this might be a little bad, like, quality-wise, but I'm going to try my best. Let's start with the main piece, which is going to be our Silverbolt. So, you're going to start by simply taking our Silverbolt here, and we're going to unlatch the wings and slide off Silverbolt himself. And we're going to work on Silverbolt himself first. So, with Silverbolt, we're going to want to tuck in these little wing extender pieces. And we're going to want to close up this. Then we're going to want to remove the gun. Then, I'm going to put that in place so I can remember it. Then we're going to open the nose cone and flip up the tip. Then we're going to flip these wings down for just a sec. We're going to lift up that section and basically transform just like you're going into robot mode, just like so. Then we are going to lock this chunk into place, flip the wings back, and rotate that around. And there's Silverbolt prepped. Now we can work on the big chunk piece. So we're going to remove this black piece here, and we're going to extend it out, and then flip the handle out, and put that off to the side. Then we are going to grab the chunk, we are going to flip up these connectors and these wings, and we are going to lift this panel up and this panel up and remove this piece. This piece will help make our torso. So we're then going to rotate both of these pieces down and open this up. Now we are basically going to take this back plate and tuck it into Silverbolt. And just kind of make sure everything is locked in. We can then bring down and transform the backpack into place and bring up the chest. And there is Silverbolt secure in the chest unit for Superion. Now getting onto the arms, what you're supposed to be able to do is basically plug the figure on the arm, split the arm, and the figure will split. This mold does not work well to that. So you're going to take off the accessories of the Arielbot. You're going to fold up the head. And then I just like to use a cable of some sort. Let me get my pocket knife real quick. Okay, there we go. I got the knife. This will work. It's not sharp. It's a dull pocket knife. I haven't sharpened it for reasons. Basically, you're going to take the knife and you're just going to slot it in there. Here, let me untap this. And then you're able to pop the figure in half. So, with this popped in half, we can put the bot off to the side. We can take the arm here. We're going to flip out the hand. And we are going to extend the gray panels. Then we can take the bottom half of our Arielbot, and we're going to tab that into place. And then I like the wings closed, so close up the wings. The official configuration has you open them, but I like them closed. And then we just take the top half of the Arielbot, and we are going to tab that into the top of the arm, and there's an arm done. So then we can take Superion here, and we're going to slot this black chunk over this black chunk till it locks, and now the arm is connected. So let's do the other arm, just because it's next. Oh, and basically, I forgot to mention this, with the chunk, you rip off these side panels, and that's the arm. So once again, we're just going to split Fireflight real quick. Pop him apart. Cool. Remove his weapons, too. There's not really a good place for them. Then we're going to bring in the arm. And we're going to split it open. like so. If you have any tips to actually get the figure to connect to the arm and split and not have to do it the way I'm showing, please let me know. And then you're pretty much just gonna tab the bot into place on the arm and then take the bottom half and plug that into place. And then, like I said, I like to close the wings up. And there's the arms. Oops, forgot this tail fin. Done. And then we can just bring in Superion again and slide this arm onto place. And there's most of Superion, except he doesn't have his legs yet. So getting on that, we're going to take the little bit rest of our chunk and we're going to split it. And each of these are a leg. I'm going to start with this one. I believe this is Skydive, yeah. So we're going to start by taking this panel and folding it up. Then we're going to come around to the front and we're going to bring this brick out and the toes down. And then we're going to come up to the top and bring out this black connector. And then we are actually going to lock the leg by pushing that black tab in. That locks this piece in place. Very cool. Now we are going to take Skydive, who's our leg bot, remove his accessories, and we're going to turn him into our leg. So we're going to fold up the landing gear. Then we're going to rotate the tail fin around and flip up the back wings. Fold up the nose cone and fold up the wings just like we're going back into robot mode. But then we're going to fold up the nose cone further and fold the head up. And there you've got your little crumpled up airplane. And you're basically just going to push him into here and tab him in. And when he gets pushed in, he'll push this black button, which will close this. It's a little difficult, so I'm going to do it off camera so I don't knock it. But you just kind of get him in there. You got to get his legs in first. It's pretty tight. But once you've got all that connected, you're left with a leg with a bunch. We'll talk about this later. But there's your leg. Now, the legs do attach pretty easily, basically. Looking at the nubs, you can see this little slot. The black chunk of the knee will slot in there. And that's how the leg connects. So now doing the other leg, air raid fits a bit nicer. So we'll show that one on camera. Once again, you're going to fold up this panel. Bring out the brick, bringing out the connector, bringing down the toes, locking it. Coming to the back, we're going to grab air raid. We're going to remove his accessories. And we are going to fold up the landing gear, rotate the tail fins, close those up, bring the backpack down, close the wings, bring down the nose cone, fold away the head. And then basically you can see these tabs at the top will plug into these slots on the arms, and these pegs at the bottom will plug into the ports on his legs. And you just slot him right in. See, he's a lot easier. And then there's the leg. Simply latch it into place. And then final thing, we're going to take the large gun from the chunk and Silverbolt's gun. And these will combine to form Superion's gun. Superion, we can then plug the gun into Superion's hand. And there we have the completed Age of the Primes Superion. I'll go over more of my opinions on this continuing, but yeah. And there he is, Superion. He looks really good. He's a lot less bland in person. I know he looks kind of bland on picture, and he's pretty good size. He's a bit larger than a commander. Articulation! Okay, so I know you can't see most of him here, but we are going to go over Superion's articulation. Please don't fall. So that's what we're going to do. And that'll pretty much be the last thing before the conclusion, is Superion's articulation. So bringing in Superion, his head is on a ball joint, so you can rotate it. There's not much up, like this is him looking up all the way. There is a good amount of down, which is useful. And there is no tilt because of these head horns. The shoulders, they can go out on a rather soft ratchet. They rotate all the way around on a ratchet. There's a bicep rotation. I think it's pinned, so that's nice. 90 degrees of bend at a very nice ratchet. There is wrist rotation on a double mushroom, and you can kind of like point the wrist inwards. There's a waist joint that goes about that far. Legs can kick forward on a very soft ratchet. They can kick back on a very soft ratchet. They can kick out on a bit nicer of a ratchet. There's a thigh rotation. There's a pretty squeaky ratchet at the knee, but it gets you a full 90. And there's ankle tilt. So he's pretty posable for being, you know, a little bit smaller than a Titan, a little bit bigger than a Commander. Pretty good size. You saw the picture. Or you will. Conclusion! So yeah, overall, I'd say the individual Arielbots are all just okay. Speaking, there's only like 2 molds. But Fireflight's definitely my favorite of them. But they're all just kind of mediocre. But Superion's really good, and Silverbolt is too. If you're wondering why I didn't cover Silverbolt, I have a different video on him. It's actually my first video. So if you want to see a coverage on Silverbolt, go check that out. But overall, I think this is a good set. I'm happy with it. I'll see you guys with another Combiner video on Devastator eventually. But I think the next video is going to be Venom from Age of the Primes. So stay tuned for that. The video. If you watched this whole video, you probably enjoyed the video, so you should show that by liking the video. I don't have comments yet for some reason, but when I do have comments, comment down below. And subscribe for more Transformers reviews. I have a review every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and a short every Tuesday and Thursday. So if you're interested, subscribe, turn on notifications, and I'll see you in my next video.